Prussia sounds sketchy.
It does.
Yeah.
And look, it created a sketchy chick over here.
I do have big Russian whore energy.
Let's go.
Am I allowed to say that? I am also wearing white lace today. I mean, half of my body is Russian at the moment.
There you go.
Look, I stand with Ukraine, but this hair is Russian.
Listen.
I got it before the war. I got it.
This is prior.
I didn't know.
You didn't know that was going to happen.
I never would have otherwise.
There you go. Salute to our Yugoslavian listeners. We are the #1 show in Yugoslavia, USSR as well. We're doing great things. Whitney Cummings, thank you so much for coming on down, for rocking. The animation you put into your stage work, is that something that came later, or were you always kind of...
That's such a good question, because I don't see it as that physical, because when you're doing your own thing, you don't really think about. I try to not look at other people's papers. I kind of just think about being funny, and I don't really compare. But people do say now, they're kind of like, "Are you like the most physical comedian?" I'm like, I guess I kind of am. I didn't realize how lazy everyone else had gotten. But popping up really fast is going to be way funnier than kind of holding your knee to get up. So you got to be in shape. You know,
you're right.
There's certain things that I know I want to do, and I have to do them every single night. And I want to be able to execute them, and I would be really pissed if I thought of something really funny but couldn't actually execute it because I wasn't practicing and staying in shape.
So your mom's work ethic was something that you feel was passed over to you from you watching her do her thing.
Did you just read my mind?
Can we continue?
That was wild. Yeah. I was thinking about that today as my special comes out on this day, and I always try to really thank the people, whether I've complained about them before. It's hard for us to sometimes stop blaming our parents. When you're you're 39 years old. Stop blaming your parents. Grow up. But my mom, she was worked. She had she worked at Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's, and I always thought I was being neglected by her. I always thought I didn't get enough of my mom's attention. She didn't love me enough, and it took me a long time to go, oh, this work ethic, this savage work ethic that I have, I don't even consider it that impressive. I just did what I saw her do all the time. So I just inherited it without. I don't really try, Yeah,
but
so
you have you've developed, maybe, I don't know if it's your later years or teen years, but what was it that gave you the confidence to be speak your mind, be the way you are, and specifically feel bold enough to call your mom a hooker?
Oh man, that is a very deep cut. If I may, just let you know how that story ended. She did promptly smack me in the face so hard that I flipped over a bed, and I stand by her and I thank her for doing it every day. That's why I say it. I'm like, thank you for humbling me, and you did the right thing. I think for me, team sports was big. As I get older, the more I divide people into two categories, like who played team sports and who didn't. Or people that are only children and people that aren't. You know everything you need to know about them. There's a certain point when you get old enough to be like, what did you do? Did you play sports? And they're like track and field, and you're like, okay, I know what to do with you. Whereas someone that was played basketball, you're like, okay, you're a team player. You know. So for me, I think that I was so serious about sports when I was a kid. It gives you so much confidence. In order to win, you have to yell, you have to express yourself, you have to say what you mean what you say, don't say it mean. You can't worry about people's feelings. You have to tell the truth, and that's something that I recently got obsessed with cheerleading, professional cheerleading. That show on Netflix, Cheer. They flip. You can never pretend something is going better than it is, because then you're putting someone's life in danger. Right. You have to get it. So I get really I think of it very much as I'm the captain of a team, and the people coming to the show, we're all on this team. I'm just kind of in charge of where we're going. You know what? You're bugged because you spend 4 days with a broken shoulder before you address it. Wow. And also, was there a fire situation too? When I was a kid, I was in a fire, yeah. When you was a kid, and you didn't acknowledge it until you go to school and your teacher's like, wait, hold on. Yes, I caught on fire when I was a kid. We didn't really prioritize paying the electric bill because my dad was a savvy businessman, spinning everything to the positive. As you get older, you got to make everything positive. And so I used to get dressed on the, there's 4 burners on a stove. Yeah. I just was like, oh, that's warm, and I would stand in between them. And it went well for a while. It was a good idea until it wasn't. And then one time it caught on fire. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Now,
to have the confidence to say, hey, I am leaving the comfort of DC. Of course, you go to Penn, so you get a little separation, which is fine. But you say, I'm going all for it, and I'm going to L.A. What gave you the strength to believe that you can pull that off?
I don't know if it was strength or just the perfect mix of fear and delusion. You know, it was a pretty delusional move. You know, I heard one time that the best goals to set are ones that are like wildly impossible, because at that echelon and that quality of goal, there's going to be very little competition because no one else is going to even be crazy enough to attempt it. So that's kind of the way I looked at it with going out to LA and making it. It was just so wild that it like had to work.
Yeah. It's a reach for the moon, you land on the stars.
Yeah, it was just like, it was so insane. And I think that I had this wild, insane foregone conclusion where I was like, this has to work, or like I'll like starve to, like, it was, I would go into rooms and audition for stuff, and I think people were like, we need to hire her. Like, it just, I had an intensity that made people think like, oh, I guess we've already hired her. Like,
because this is a dying medium, print, right? I always kind of looked at journalism like, damn, man, that must be tough to go to school for. But you went for it. So I'm trying to bring, I guess, a positive to that, and I guess it makes you observational and see who's trying to do something wrong or something.
Totally. Yes. I mean, but in that case, sorry, I was kind of more making fun of like the fact that, you know, you look at how much you spend on school.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, I'm like, did they teach me anything in journalism school? Yeah. They taught me to do better journalism and researching how much the school was going to cost next time. But you know, it definitely helped me like think critically, which is something that I think we all need now more than ever. Going like, okay, I just read that, but who wrote it? And what do they stand to gain? And is it owned by a corporation? And are they selling me ads? You know, just being really critical of everything you see, and knowing that even, quote, objective articles is coming from a human being that has biases and has a bank account and
doing what you do as far as like writing and comedy as well. It could be challenging financially. Was leaving Roseanne a moment for you where you were like, I'm thinking about my bank account, but I got to stand by the right thing?
You know, I didn't in that. I am so penurious with money that I'm actually, it's weird because I have friends, this is going to sound kind of gross, but I have friends that are like, they buy cars and they collect classic cars or purses. Their thing is purses. My thing is money.
Yeah.
Like, I want money.
Yeah.
I don't want the stuff you get with it. I want it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to...
It brings me to your 401k.
I collect money.
Your men talk about 401k and women thinking it was 400 miles.
Oh God.
Running.
This is no one taught me about money. No one teaches women. They give us like plastic babies when we're 4 just to train us, and then an easy bake oven at 5, so you're learning to be in the little mini kitchen. And no one taught me about business. So like, yeah, I talked about in my first special about until I was like 26, I thought a 401k was a marathon.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea.
I'm a runner, so it's like, hey,
yeah,
she
I
gets
had no
me.
idea anything about money. But now I'm like bought some real estate, and I'm like been investing a little bit.
Yeah, really dope. So then, now I was hype on the Two Broke Girls happening, and I watched a couple episodes. I'm from Brooklyn, and it's based there, and I was like, nobody looked like me who walked in.
Well, it was technically Williamsburg, right?
Yeah, which is where I went to school at.
But we were making fun a little bit of the fact that it was all like white hipsters that had moved in that area.
Okay, I see that. But I was like, oh man,
but that was kind of the point. Like at the time, wasn't it kind of cringy hipster, like
at the time? Right now, bro.
Okay, well, 10 years ago, it was all like rich trust fund kids with typewriters.
Yeah.
Pretending to be Amish.
Yeah.
And all their dads
making pickle juice.
Worked at Goldman Sachs, and they're like,
I gotta hang with these people.
You feel like you're going back in time.
They want to talk to me about hip hop. You know how hard that is? You know how hard it is to have somebody who looks like a Viking?
The best rapper ever, Macklemore.
Yeah, somebody who looks like a Viking saying, no, bro, I know about Biggie. I'm like, that's all you know about, huh?
Oh, you know, check out this henna tattoo of Biggie.
Yeah, exactly, a henna tattoo. Yeah, what's going on in America? Someone like you with your roast, I've had the pleasure of roasting some people and writing and sitting there, and I love it. And I really looked at you, and one of my favorite was Greg Girardo, you know, and what he did. I know you've talked about the stories, but it's such a different cloth in the fryers, the ones that don't air, the ones that we can't
Yeah.
see. So that's one of those places I wish I was a fly in the room. If you can, what are some of those that we missed?
You know what's actually interesting now that you're saying that? Because I was like, oh my gosh, what happened off camera at the Friars Club roasts? Like, was that better than what happened on camera? Sometimes I'm actually, as I think back, I'm like, some of the best stuff I think might have actually been televised because
It's produced?
we're like, we know this isn't a weird, icky secret.
Right.
Like, I know everyone's going to see this, because a lot of it can be, I mean, you look back at a lot of the stuff and you're like, oh, gosh, that is problematic, but there's something weirdly safe about, like, we're documenting this.
Yes.
We're not secretly saying this, like, wildly offensive stuff because, like, we're doing it for public consumption, oddly sanitizes it.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No, it does. But the safe environment is turned around on his head when Pamela Anderson is like, yo, I don't like what you're talking about.
No,
man.
she was not happy with me about that. But, I mean, I'm also kind of now of the ilk where I'm like, you know what, if she wanted to have her feelings hurt and wanted to stand up for herself, like, good for you.
Yeah.
Like, as I get older, I'm like, oh, I'm allowed to have self-respect and self-esteem.
Okay.
I'm allowed to, like, be uncomfortable.
Evolve.
Yeah, because that's what annoys me about comedians right now is comedians are like, freedom of speech. I should be able to say whatever I want. I want to say whatever I want. And then someone's like, I don't think you're funny. And they're like, you're not allowed to have free speech.
Oh, shit.
If you don't think I'm funny, shut up. And you're like, so everyone has to love you? Like, that's not fair. Like, comedians, like, we're at this place where it's like, we were always polarizing. Most people used to, we all hated us. We just didn't know about it. We didn't hear the water cooler conversation.
So back then, I remember watching VHS versions of the pre-tape of what ended up being Raw, the movie, Eddie Murphy's stand-up stuff.
Wow.
And I'd watch it, and I'm like, wow, this is like it's raw. You know what I mean? It's jokes that aren't hitting. And I was a kid watching that and Dice, and I was like, man, this is such an interesting angle. But your work ethic before you get to these are jokes Netflix special. What is that? How many dates is that till you get to right there?
I probably did about 70 dates on the road before I shot this, and this was since October, so it's like things have been canceled and then masked and vaxxed, and half the people can't come because they do want to get vaxxed or don't want to wear a mask. It was like, I would say there were fights in 50 out of 70 shows in the audience.
Yeah.
People just fighting each other over whether it was masks or vaccines or you were standing too close. Like, it still feels oddly premature to have people like inside going like for an hour and a half. Like, they're fine for the first hour or so, and then they start being like, that's a droplet.
Hold on, fam.
They just start, after a couple drinks, they're like, it's not that funny, buddy. It's not that funny. So it's definitely like the tension was, I had to do a lot of crowd work, which I normally wouldn't want to do when I'm practicing, especially. You want to get it like totally down. But yeah, so it's about a year, I mean, I think that there's something to be said for working on something for a year and a half, or at this time where someone thinks of something, they film it, and then it's out and you've seen it. Like,
so
I like to give things a lot of thought.
Well, one of the things you didn't give thought to, and it's a very huge problem in your career. All those days you were away from home, your pets were not addressed. Today I took my dog right now is getting a shave,
Okay.
because I care about my pets.
Okay, yeah.
Where you, on the other hand, are just so irresponsible.
Hands off, yeah.
That you're just willing to
Yeah, I'm not a helicopter parent with my animals, I believe in the village.
Okay.
That many can raise one child.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually more loving that they have many mothers instead of one narcissistic father.
Right. There you go. Oh, my gosh. So our listeners here are really aggressive.
Oh.
Right? But we have all types. We have tweens, we have wolves.
I do Rogan, so if they can out-aggress those fans.
Yeah. So, but tell us about your time with wolves. Yeah. Tell us about your time.
I have this thing where I don't know, I'm not great with people when it comes to sometimes being vulnerable or being honest. Sometimes I feel like I have to be on, I have to perform, alcoholic home, comedian thing, whatever it is. But I found that there's amazing therapeutic properties that animals have, especially prey animals and wolves. I work with this organization. It's called the Wolf Connection, and to try to, I don't want to blather too much, but you bring in these like young kids that are, you know, in trouble. They're in rehab. They're, you know, they're in juvie. They're dealing with like aggression issues, violence. And they come in and they don't want to talk about their feelings, and they're like, I'm fine. They won't. They're just like aggressive, either don't want to talk or they like lash out. And then if you point out all the wolves, all these rescue wolves, because a lot of people breed German Shepherds and wolves and then fight them. Hashtag Texas.
Yeah.
And
hi, Dad.
and basically, if you take the kids and point out, like, okay, there's the one that's peeing, right? There's the one that's barking. There's the one that's howling. There's the one that's sleeping. There's the one that's like digging a hole. There's the one that's, which one, you know, which one is your favorite, right? You know, Bo is the one that's, and then which one do you think is the alpha? What would you say?
Of the pack.
Yeah, which one would you say?
I don't know.
Sleeping.
The one that's
the alpha always sleeps. So these kids that have all this aggression are like, oh, like alphas don't try too hard. Like, I don't need to prove how strong I am. I don't need to prove. Like, the true boss is the one that chills out and lets everyone else do the work for him.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like cool ways to just like, you know, be able to be vulnerable and grow with, like, get your ego out of the way.
Yeah, nah, I love that. And also another thing I love is that, speaking about, you know, who is the boss, you are definitely one, sis. You are definitely one who, you know, not only creative, but you've created platforms for other people to succeed in and shine in, and I commend you on that. Now, if you can, how much of how long did it take for you to accept podcasting?
Any day now.
Yeah?
I don't feel like I'm there yet. I still, look, the main thing I learned in this business is there is absolutely no one that wants to hear a woman they're not having sex with talk for 3 hours straight.
Fam, if I had your bear claw.
Bear claw, she is short-circuiting. I can't charge her. I can't get her. She's like a real wife at this point.
Yeah, I know. I just need you to remove the voice box, and I'll have a great relationship with that thing. Oh, my God. So she has a doll, right, that was made, but not for sexual purposes.
Well, it is technically a sex robot.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
The head is a full functioning robot. I mean, she looks exactly like me. She was in my last special on Netflix, Can I Touch It? The one before this. And her head, I mean, she can have conversations with you. She remembers you. Her eyes are going to be cameras soon, so she'll be able to see you and be able to tell the difference between you and you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but she's, the problem is I made her like 4 years ago, and she's already started to look younger than me.
Yeah.
So now we have to like age her up based on, and like let the drama of the pandemic reflect on her face too. Can you see it? Just look up Whitney Cummings robot.
Oh no, bro, my heart already seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Is that a search
traumatizing
option on?
Yeah, it's a traumatic thing.
No. I mean, like, you think dolls are like an option on the porn sites now? Like, can you do like
porn,
sex
doll
dolls?
porn? Yes, I don't think it's doll on doll. Last time I checked this morning, but there's definitely that whole area
of people who are into that shit?
I haven't watched it, but I've seen the stills of it, and that's enough for me.
So do you feel your doll looks like you?
It's weird. I don't think it looks like me, because no one really knows exactly what they look like.
Yeah,
they say that if you were to see yourself walking around, you wouldn't recognize yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's how dysmorphic
I
we
get
are.
like Angelina Jolie vibes from it.
From the robot?
Yeah.
Mother of 8.
Yeah. Oh shit. Unprotected sex works.
And so, I don't think she looks like me, but when she's next to me, people bug out.
Oh shit.
So I don't know if it's just that she's weird looking, or I don't know. She looks like she had a bout with palsy.
Yeah.
She got that Bieber virus.
I'll wife that. I'll wife
Please
that down.
do.
Let's go. So nobody has your boo hasn't.
No one. No. Well, the body actually got sawed in half for the Foo Fighters movie I did. Studio 666. Yeah. So we sawed the body in half.
So female brain.
Yes.
The cover. I don't know if you've seen the cover for Morning. Good Morning.
Good Morning.
Did they?
It you know what? I did not put that together. I did not even.
What's up, bro?
Do that, but that's interesting. But it's not the heads; it's like the whole bodies.
It's a little vibe.
I mean, I feel.
It's a little vibe.
I love you so much. I hate you.
Come on. Look at her headbutting
my God,
shit.
I've been up since 4 this morning.
Her WWF days.
Did you ever live in D.C.?
No.
Why did someone just tell me that? Okay. Was there a straight edge scene in Brooklyn?
A straight edge scene?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I'd have to fight. I have to be like, I'll fucking punch your mother. Like, I'd have to be aggressive just to be like,
Yeah.
oh, he's wild. He's okay. I'd have to rob people just to be cool.
I thought you had done a show in DC before. Here's the thing about me and drugs. It's weird. Everybody thinks I'm on so many drugs. I've never done heroin and I've never done cocaine. Only one time licked at.
Let's talk about ayahuasca, fam.
I did do that.
I know you did.
I did ayahuasca
I
one
got
time.
photos. Yes. You and wolves making sex. This is a fact. This is the sound. We'll send everybody the wolf dick pics in a little while. We'll post it.
Do not click on that category in Pornhub.
So
it will mess up your algorithm. You will lose custody of your kids in 30 years. Don't click on that.
Consistency is a great thing, and success looks great on you. And when it comes to all these books that you've done, they're definitely self-help. I love the codependency angle that you do. I think in our industry, we're always trying to find a community to connect to feel like, oh, I'm okay, I can take a breath. If you could speak to that, I think that's even good talk for just casual listeners. I mean, not casual listeners, just people who don't really go out necessarily. It's still the same in their workplace.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Like, I think that we are in the society that values instant bonding. Like everyone has to be besties. You have to be besties with your work friend. We're not designed to have that many people in our tribe, so to speak, but I grew up in an environment where, there were a lot of big feelings. There was an alcoholic home. There was narcissism, insecurity, where as a child, I very much felt like I had to take care of the adults and make sure people weren't fighting and making sure the lunches were packed. And you basically just develop this an overdeveloped sense of responsibility where you think other people's needs are your problem, and not to be cold, but before you try to solve a problem, first make sure it's your problem. Yeah. I thought for the longest time I was like this angel who I was always just trying to help people, and it's annoying to try to help people and fix people and, meddling in their life. But I thought it was the nice thing to do. But it's really just oddly like a control addiction and a need to make other people like you.
Yeah, and then you become an enabler.
Because then you resent them ultimately.
Yeah.
I was I drove him to the airport and I helped him move, and then I called him and checked up on him, and I said, it's did he ask you to do any of these things? Are you just keeping the scorecard? You can still be of service to people, but if you're keeping score, that's so much of why a lot of our relationships get poisoned. And a lot of times when people are mad at me, I'm like, are you sure you haven't just done too much for me this month that I don't know about?
Yeah.
And you resent me,
there you go.
That kind of thing, So it's really just, and about just getting too close too fast. We trauma bond, we overshare. We're in this culture where people small talk is so how's the Prozac? Is it going? And you're just why do these people at work know anything about you?
Well, I know a bunch of shit about you.
Well, I'm just saying, this is toxic. This is
wild toxic.
I feel violated.
Me and you, I'm definitely running into the street. I'm punching a cop after this. I need shit to do later.
There's just this toxic, codependent vibe we kind of all have with each other.
And then you just said, fuck social media. I'm going to get somebody to deal with it.
We can curse on this show? Oh, I didn't know
What that dick do? Let's go.
I didn't know that. I've been kind of trying so hard to not curse for the past 20 minutes. Okay, I feel better now.
Yeah.
What was your fucking question?
Last time you punched a cop in the face.
I have never punched a cop in the face.
No, the social media, putting that away for a little bit and stepping away.
Yeah, I think, to me, social media is it's tricky because I'm the first person to say that whatever's going on social media is a reflection of you. Because you've chosen to follow these people. This is your algorithm based on what you clicked on. We want to be oh, why are you showing me these stupid videos? Because they're guessing based on your choices.
Yeah.
They're holding a mirror up to your
perception.
So it is when you're just oh, these must be sponsored, and what are all these dumb videos? And you're like, no, I did that at 2 a.m. on NyQuil.
There you go.
I get why they think I love this, because I do. I try to step away from it. I think as a comic, it's as soon as you start becoming the thing you make fun of, you gotta step away. You got to make sure you're not getting lost in
and live a life.
Promoting yourself. Yeah, in order for art to imitate life, you have to have a life. But I think it's hard now because it's as artists, we all just want to go oh my God, there's all this power at our fingertips to promote ourselves. We can promote ourselves now. We don't have to wait around for some, PR department or pay a publicist, but then you're just promoting yourself.
Yep.
And you want people to know you for your work, not you just promoting your work. It can get a little cringy at times.
And here we are on SiriusXM Shade
so
45.
My special now available on Netflix.
Promote
Please
it.
watch it. And begging you.
Whitney Cummings, you're phenomenal, even though, your breast situation is one larger than the other, your nostril situation, and you're tilted.
This is unbelievable. This is, honestly, I have gone numb in this business, and nothing impresses me. And when I do interviews and stuff like this, I kind of just disassociate and just try to be an empty vessel. You have inspired me to be better at what I do.
There you go. Look at this, Whitney Cummings.
I mean, this is like this is masterful.
Thank you so much. I
in
appreciate
a time
that.
where people have gotten so sloppy and so entitled and so just doing the least.
Yeah. I'm appreciative of those words. Continue doing your thing. You empower
You didn't
everyone.
have to put that much into this, and you did.
But I did because I care, and I think, and I know you care, and you put a lot of work into what it is that you do, and I think it's to elevate what it is that we do as creatives. Our audience deserves it.
Yes, you play to the top of everyone's intelligence.
Yeah. There you go. It's Whitney Cummings, y'all.
Come on.
Destroy.